Welcome to the deep dive. So, if you're, currently sitting on the sidelines, maybe watching all those real estate headlines swirl around, you're probably wrestling with that really critical decision right now. Should I buy now or do I wait? Hope the market somehow magically aligns perfectly. We looked at a whole stack of sources, all focused on this exact issue, timing the real estate market cycle. Our mission today, let's try and cut through some of that noise. We want to give you a framework, something to help you quickly assess your own personal buyer weight calculation. Because for most people, it really boils down to two huge questions, two unknowns. First, what's the real measurable cost of waiting it out? And second, what crucial factors are buyers overlooking right now? Things that might actually let them act today. Let's unpack this. Because honestly, the immediate takeaway from the material was, well, it was pretty surprising.
Yeah, it really was. What the analysis pointed out right away kind of challenges the common narrative.
Yeah.
You might expect experts to be universally shouting, buy now, before prices go through the roof. But our sources, they delivered a very grounded counter perspective. The notes explicitly stated that waiting, maybe even pushing that decision into 2025 or possibly 2026 might actually be the most rational, sound financial decision, for some people anyway.
Hold on, 2026, that feels really counterintuitive. Usually the pressure's all about acting immediately, right? That suggests we can't just follow the general market trends then. Why would the data suggest patience for certain individuals?
Well, it's because the decision is never really just about the market in isolation. It's always about the individual buyer. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the sources really emphasize this. The market is a variable, sure, but you are the constant. And we identified three specific variables that kind of have to align for waiting to be the genuinely smart move for you. First, your personal financial stability. Are you truly ready? Rock solid. Second, your current lifestyle plans. Do you need space right now? Family growing, relocating, that sort of thing. And third, your genuine confidence, your own gut feeling, really about where interest rates and prices are actually heading, not just what the headlines say.
Okay, so if you're shaky on maybe two of those three areas.
Exactly. If you're genuinely unstable in, say, 2 out of 3, then waiting is probably prudent. The analysis isn't advising delay just to save a few bucks necessarily. It's more about advising delay to gain alignment, to get those ducks in a row first.
Right. So the mission isn't to push everyone to buy or wait, but really to provide clarity. Clarity on the cost of inaction if you are actually aligned. And maybe shine a light on strategic opportunities people are currently overlooking because, let's be honest, the most common assumption out there right now is just wait. Wait until prices fall by some, mythical percentage. That's the only smart option.
That's spot on. And that price fixation, that's really what we need to address first. Buyers on the sidelines, they often assume the current market is just static and hostile. Like only a massive price correction will open the door for them. But the data shows this leads to what we started calling the hidden opportunity buyers overlook.
Okay, tell me more about that hidden opportunity, because if prices aren't falling off a cliff, why should someone buy today instead of just waiting for that bigger correction down the line?
Well, the really compelling counterargument is that today's market, it's fundamentally different from, say, the bidding war frenzy of 2020 to 2022. Very different. While overall housing prices might seem sticky, maybe declining slowly in some areas, the real opportunity now is in negotiating strong deals on the terms. The market has shifted. It's tilted back, giving buyers more leverage in the actual negotiation process itself, not just the final price.
Leverage on terms.
Yeah. It means that while a seller might only come down, let's say, 5% on the sticker price, you might have this huge window to negotiate on things that directly impact your long-term cost of ownership, or things that affect your immediate cash flow, your liquidity. We're talking about securing incentives, contract terms that really favor the buyer, things that weren't possible a year or two ago.
But how does negotiating terms help me if that overall price still feels, inflated? Can you give a concrete example? A specific term that makes a strong deal today, even if the list price seems high.
Absolutely. And the most immediate, probably most powerful example right now, explicitly mentioned in the research, is the rate buy-down. This is a massive negotiating tool right now. If you find a seller who's motivated, really needs to sell, they might offer a sizable closing credit. Think maybe $15,000, $20,000 sometimes. But critically, it's not necessarily to lower the price. It's specifically to allow you, the buyer, to temporarily or even permanently lower your mortgage interest rate.
Ah, okay, so they give you cash, but it's earmarked for the rate.
Exactly. And that credit, when applied to reducing your interest rate, can save you far more money. especially in the short to medium term, than just a marginal price drop would. Think about it. Even a 1 or 2% difference in your rate over the first few years, that often translates to thousands saved monthly. That's immediate financial relief. And it buys you time while you wait, hoping interest rates fall later so you can refinance at a better permanent rate.
Wow, okay. That completely reframes the cost equation, doesn't it? It stops being just about the sticker price and becomes about the total cost of capital, the monthly payment. And that analysis you mentioned, it highlighted the split, right? Some clients secured these favorable terms, these kinds of deals all through this past year, while other potential buyers they just watched from the sidelines, totally fixated only on a list price correction that frankly may or may not happen anytime soon.
Precisely. It really emphasizes that the opportunity for finding favorable leverage is right now. It's immediate.
Okay, this brings us to the next logical step then. If waiting for huge price drops isn't the only move, and today's market offers better negotiation on terms, we need to shift focus, move towards actionable strategies. What are the concrete alternatives for someone serious about buying beyond just waiting it out?
This is really where a serious buyer needs to transition, right? From passive observation to proactive strategy. And the analysis laid out 3 specific high-impact strategies that are particularly relevant right now, especially, as we head towards the end of the calendar year. The first strategy is all about leveraging motivated sellers. These aren't just people casually testing the market. We're talking about sellers with specific, often non-negotiable timelines. Maybe they've already bought their next place or they've started a new job elsewhere, could be relocating for family. For them, certainty and speed become much higher priorities than squeezing every single last dollar out of the sale.
Okay, how do you spot that motivation? It's not like they put it in the listing description. Highly motivated, please make an offer.
No, not literally. But the data points to some pretty clear indicators you can look for. You want to look for properties that have sat on the market longer than the average for that specific neighborhood. Or maybe properties that have had 1 or 2 small price reductions already. That signals they're adjusting expectations. And crucially, look at the listing history. Have there been recent relistings? Or maybe drastic price drops after being listed high initially? These often signal a seller who tested the waters, didn't get bites, and is now ready to prioritize just getting the deal done.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so strategy 1 is find that motivated seller. Strategy 2 moves beyond just finding the target and focuses on structuring creative offers. This sounds like where we go beyond just price and maybe those rate buy downs you mentioned earlier. What other specific levers can a buyer pull to make an offer creative in today's market?
Right. The creativity really comes from identifying what the seller actually needs, their hidden priorities, and catering to those needs while still protecting yourself as the buyer. So beyond closing cost credits for things like buy downs, another really powerful creative tactic is adjusting the contingency periods.
Oh, like the inspection window or financing.
Exactly. In the recent frenzy, buyers were often waiving those contingencies entirely just to win. Risky stuff. Today, buyers can and absolutely should include those protections. But you can make your offer more attractive by offering the seller a shorter contingency window. Maybe offer a 7-day inspection period instead of the standard 10 or 14. This gives the seller assurance that the deal won't drag on unnecessarily. That's huge for someone trying to close quickly.
And it doesn't sacrifice the buyer's due diligence, just tightens the timeline.
Precisely. It's a win-win negotiation piece based on timeline, not just money.
I like that idea, using time almost like currency in the negotiation. What about things like repair allowances? Are those still a factor in creative offers?
Oh, absolutely. That's another great tool. Instead of demanding the seller fix a whole list of minor items before closing, which always seems to cause delays and adds uncertainty for the seller. A truly creative offer might secure a repair allowance or a specific credit at closing. This lets the buyer handle the repairs after they own the home. The seller gets that clean, fast closing they might desperately want, and the buyer gets the cash to manage the work on their own schedule, using their preferred contractors. That flexibility is really valuable.
Okay, so we've covered finding motivated sellers and then making creative, term-focused offers. The third strategy you mentioned is particularly relevant now, taking advantage of seasonal slowdowns.
Yes, exactly. Since we're, approaching the end of the year, competition naturally tends to get lighter. And the source material notes this isn't just because people are busy with holidays, although that's part of it. It's often institutional too. Lenders might be focused on year-end reporting, agents might take vacations, and honestly, many buyers just mentally shift focus away from huge life decisions like buying a house during November and December.
So fewer buyers actively looking.
Generally, yes. This seasonal dip reduces the pool of really aggressive buyers competing for the same properties. It creates a temporary window of opportunity. Now, the inventory, the number of houses for sale, might also be slightly lower, that's true, but the competition is often significantly more muted. So, for a proactive buyer, shopping during this seasonal lull can mean fewer bidding wars, maybe finding sellers who are more receptive because they really want to wrap things up before the new year.
Listening to all this, it really boils down to one core principle, doesn't it? It seems less about trying to perfectly time some big macroeconomic shift.
Precisely. That's the key takeaway. The core principle is aligning the purchase with your specific financial situation and your lifestyle goals. It's not about reacting to scary headlines or waiting for some idealized market bottom that may never come or might come with much higher interest rates. Think about it. A strategic purchase made today may be leveraging a motivated seller you found during this seasonal slowdown, securing great terms like that rate buydown that could easily result in a better overall financial and life outcome for you. Compared to waiting maybe 2 years for a marginal drop in the market price, especially if rates or other costs go up in the meantime.
That framing is really helpful, personal optimization versus waiting for market perfection. Okay, now let's bring in that sense of urgency you mentioned because the research specifically pointed to the calendar.
It did. Yeah, the analysis highlighted the simple fact that there are fewer than 90 days left in this year. Now, the point isn't to create panic, not at all. It's more to underscore that if you are currently stuck in that wait or act loop, you really need to use this specific time frame for evaluation. If you want to potentially capitalize on that year-end seasonal slowdown we just talked about, the time to get prepared, to get your ducks in a row, is right now.
So, how should someone use these next, say, 90 days? What's the evaluation process?
I think if we summarize the ultimate evaluation process for you, the listener, it comes down to comparing the real costs involved. You need to honestly assess, is the cost of waiting? And that includes the cost of renting longer, maybe missing out on these immediate term negotiation opportunities, potentially delaying your own lifestyle goals. Is that cost possibly greater than the cost and risk of acting strategically today? That cost of waiting is often hidden. It's hidden in those missed opportunities for favorable terms, like the buy downs or credits, which seem to be pretty abundant right now if you know where to look and how to ask.
Okay, so what does this all mean for the very next practical steps someone should take? The research seemed clear on the recommendation.
Yeah, the recommendation was unambiguous. The very next step is simply getting clarity, personalized clarity. That means sitting down, likely with a trusted professional, a good local agent, maybe a financial advisor, someone who can help you objectively weigh both sides of this specific argument for you. You need advice tailored to your situation, not just general market commentary from the news. And use the information we just discussed. Use these ideas about creative offers, motivated sellers, seasonal timing. Drive the conversation with those professionals. Ask them pointed questions like, okay, realistically, what specific terms can we actually negotiate in this specific neighborhood right now?
And doing that brings us right back to those two core listener priorities we mentioned at the very beginning, doesn't it? The final decision has to be the one that best supports both your financial future long-term and your immediate lifestyle goals. It's not just a numbers game on a balance sheet. It's fundamentally a life decision.
Absolutely. And the current market seems to be rewarding specific, strategic action, not just passive waiting. The individuality of your situation is paramount here.
So just to recap the main tension we've explored, that decision, buy or wait, it absolutely has to be individualized based on your personal finances, your lifestyle needs, your confidence level. And crucially, it seems buyers should be looking much more aggressively at leveraging the immediate negotiation opportunities, seeking out better terms, incentives, contingencies, rather than just, holding out hope for huge uncertain price drops way off in 2026 or beyond.
Exactly. And maybe here's a final thought, something for you to mull over as you think about this. If we agree that securing a strong deal today really hinges on structuring a creative offer, one that appeals to a motivated seller's specific needs, things like certainty and speed, what specific non-financial assurance could you potentially offer right now? Think beyond just price and standard terms for a second. Could you maybe offer a highly flexible closing date that perfectly matches their timeline? Or perhaps offer a short leaseback option if they need a little extra time to move after closing? Identifying and then offering that unique non-monetary value, that's often the highest level move, is what can separate truly serious strategic buyers from everyone else just focused on price.
That kind of deeper thinking is precisely what this deep dive was designed to spark. Go get that clarity, assess those hidden opportunities, and apply this knowledge to your own situation. Thank you for joining us for the deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.